I would like to call the September 23rd, 2025 council meeting to order, and I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Ms. Mapp? Here. Mr. Chambers?
Here.
Ms. Shinholster?
Here.
Dr. Lee?
Here.
Mrs. Walden? Here. Mr. Reynolds?
Here.
All right, we do have a quorum present. If you will, please stand and join me in our prayer and pledge. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for the privilege to serve our community. Your words remind us in Proverbs 11 and 14, where there's no guidance, a people falls, but in abundance of counsel, there is safety. Lord, grant this counsel wisdom, unity, and clarity of mind as we make decisions that impact the lives of many. Bless our city, its leaders, and its people with peace, prosperity, and justice. May everything done here tonight bring honor to you and good to our community. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So tonight, we're going to change up just a tad bit here at the beginning. We normally do our open forum for our community citizens to speak. So tonight, that will come after this particular portion of our presentation. At this time, we have a presentation about an exciting project being shared with us this evening by Mr. Mike Couch of From the Ground Up of Georgia. Mr. Couch, if you will, take the podium and bring us some good news tonight.
Mike Couch, Lot 72, Scenic Mountain RV Resort down, or 7667 River Road, Indianapolis, Indiana. First, thank y'all for making time for this. We think this is a report back to leadership about 18 months worth of work. What we want to talk to y'all about is the potential of a Hilton Hotel Conference Center in downtown Milledgeville. And we're going to we'll put that up and leave it there so you have a reference point, and we'll give you copies of this. First, I'd like to introduce the team that's worked on this since February a year ago. Nothing happens without ownership, so I'll ask Fowler Flimster Pursley family if you would stand up. This is the local fire behind this entire project. So we are lucky and fortunate to have them. They've been committed from day one. We've been together working on this. So thank y'all very much. Next, I'd like to introduce who designed this. We have Tony Eck and Joe Greco from Lauren Eck Sargent. There we are. And we have to have hotel hospitality consultants. We're lucky to have Will Perry from Washington, D.C., originally of Georgia, right? Georgia College grad, your master's is from MBA from Georgia College. And then we have good legal counsel. In fact, Hank appreciated all the words we sent you, right, Hank? Dan Brannon, who have been very well represented. Y'all know me well enough. Nothing happens individually, but it happens with a team. This is the team, and Scott, obviously, and we'll talk about Frank's participation, but we want to report back to you. We have spent the day meeting all day with stakeholders. We've met with President Cox and our Chief of Staff. We've met with our state delegation, both Senator and House Representative. The mayor was in a previous meeting. We've met with the DDA. We've met with the CVB and the Chamber of Commerce. And to a group, there's been nothing but absolute endorsement that we need this in our downtown. We need this for downtown Milledgeville. Some of you that have been around for a while have known me when I brought CRE back in 2016. That was one of the reports that they were fascinated by. They looked at the State Hospital campus, but they said, Mike, with Georgia College and GMC, you need a downtown hotel conference center. We've worked on that diligently, and last February we started this in earnest, and we're tickled to death to have what we've presented tonight. This is a product of about 18 months worth of work, funded by McKinsey. You stroked the checks, but it has absolutely been a labor of love. It's a community project. This will lift, you've heard me say before, a rising tide lifts all boats. This will absolutely be something that is incomparable. It's happened downtown in a long time. Everyone we've met today, whether it be President Cox or our Georgia Military College president or the community leadership or Senator Williams or Representative Griffith, everybody says, this is needed, we support you, what do you need from us? We come to the city council tonight only for two things, understanding, and we've got to go to Florida to meet with an investor group on Friday. We want to go down and tell the investor we have total community support. And I believe we've got that. But without further ado, what I'd like to do is invite Joe Greco from LES to come up and talk about the design process and what we'd like to do just right over here on North Jefferson Street. So,
Very good. Pleasure to be here. I'm Joe Greco, president of Lord X Sargent Architects. We've had the pleasure as a firm, do I have to give an address, my address? 158 South Candler Street, Decatur, Georgia. As a firm, we've had the pleasure of working in Milledgeville now that I've looked at, I think, the last 30 years or so. Projects like the old Governor's Mansion, old Capitol Building, Kid Wellness Center, a number of projects, probably 12 altogether. So we've felt pretty connected to the Milledgeville community, even though we're in Atlanta. So when Mike called us for this opportunity to look at the potential hotel, we were really excited about it. And we kind of took the approach that we wanted to create a design that was in keeping with Milledgeville and that was sort of built on the history of this fine town and was very connected sort of to the downtown. So I'll do a little quick walkthrough of where we are on the conceptual design. Try that, see if that works. I might have to click it manually. Is that
It
all right?
was working to make sure it's on the
Oh, I
side.
think it would do that to me, wouldn't you? Let's see. Okay, that'll work. Thank you.
Technology works till 5 minutes before it's needed.
Never fails. So when we started you can get the next one. When we started the process, we really wanted to look at some precedents for successful hotels that were in kind of small town environments, picking up on sort of the historic fabric. So idea of maybe using a lot of brick, kind of, picking up on the sort of the downtown, creating positive working streetscapes that are pedestrian friendly, those sorts of things. Variety of places that are all the same, so it doesn't seem like a cookie cutter project. Next one, please.
Try yours one more time.
Try that again. All right. See.
There you go.
Look at that. All right. Another couple of projects where you see sort of buildings that have got a historic component to it. So the site we've got actually does have some existing historic structures that we're incorporating into the design, which adds sort of a lot of layers of history and makes it feel more authentic. And then also the idea that this would be sort of a multi-use conference facility and hotel. It includes a large conference space that can work for weddings. The design also includes a rooftop terrace. There's a plan for a restaurant on site and potentially some outdoor dining. So really all the kinds of things that you want in a sort of a nice small town walkable environment that's welcoming. So with that, just getting everybody oriented, this is the site plan. I know it's a little bit bright and probably far away on the screen, but the road on the left is Jefferson Street, so there's the green median that runs down the middle. At the bottom of the page is Hancock, and McIntosh is the horizontal street that goes left to right, sort of toward the top, and then, of course, on the right is Elbert. What's interesting about the site is it's sort of almost midway between Georgia College State University and Georgia Military College, so they will be significant users of that in terms of the conference facilities. So that's a really good thing. It's a very short walk to downtown, so we feel like the project will be good for downtown with an extra 150, 200 people in town, on a given night. And it's also close to the Oconee Greenway. The way we've conceived the project, there's a main hotel block that is in the center of the site, so it's a little bit taller, but it's at the center of the site so that it's to not overwhelm the sort of the streetscape on the residential street. We're repurposing the Victorian home there in the center as a restaurant, and then also using the sort of the Duckworth sheds there for those conference venues at the back. Those would be kind of reclad, and they would be insulated and all those kinds of things, so that they could be good integrated conference facilities. On the corner, we've conceived of what I would describe as the expansion to the hotel could be done in one phase. The main bar is 120 keys. The lower scale piece on the corner would be about 30 keys, so a total of 150 in the full build out. There's a kind of park that is the drop-off area, and we're treating that more like a green space rather than a parking lot, so that it feels like connected to the streetscape and the median there in the center. So this just gives you an aerial view. Probably would have been easier to describe it from here, but there you get a good view of the car park coming in, a canopy that would serve both drop-off for the restaurant as well as the hotel would be there. This would be a Jefferson Street address, so essentially you could come right into the repurposed house for a restaurant directly, again, very walkable kind of environment. Parking is to the rear nearest Elbert Street, so as to be sort of closest to the highway in a way so that you don't have a parking lot sort of on Jefferson, which is a much more residential street. This is just a view in the other direction. Again, you're seeing the sheds in the foreground that would be conference-type facilities. So you've got the large banquet hall on the upper portion, and then smaller meeting rooms in the lower portion. There would be a kind of a pass-through dog trot that goes all the way through and connects to the hotel from the parking lot. And just a couple other views. Again, if you look at the upper right-hand corner, you can see the location of a potential rooftop terrace. This has a great view of the old Capitol building, as well as back, of course, toward Georgia College State University. And then a view of the sheds. We're still exploring how that would be clad, but we think that there's opportunities to put some glass on it where you kind of see it light up at night, and it highlights the wood structure on the inside. They're very beautiful spaces on the inside, and we think they'll be very distinctive. And this just gives you a sense of what it is from the overall, but I think the main point is it's an ensemble. It's not a single building. It's intended to have a lot of walkable, people-friendly spaces, restaurants and homes, rooftop terraces, parks, lower scale buildings that face the residential neighborhood, so that it is a connected, vibrant part, and really, hopefully kind of spurs additional positive development and business travel for the downtown area. So with that, that's it.
And Madam Mayor, with your permission, I'd like Will Perry from Spark Hudson to come up. Will has been our hospitality hotel expert. Could not have gotten where we've got without Will. Actually, President Cox connected me with him in Washington, D.C. So Will, would you come over here and where we are?
Hi, good afternoon. Will Perry, if you need my address, 300 Massachusetts Avenue Northwest, Washington, D.C. So I'm Will Perry. I'm with Spark Hudson, co-founder and principal of the organization. So we are hotel advisors as well as we are hotel operators as well. Lots of branded experience overall. So there have been over the years a number of feasibility studies that have kind of been done on the Milledgeville market. We had an opportunity to preview some of those and took a look at them. And they did size up the market pretty well, but we think we found, and again, not throwing rocks at that work, but I think one of the issues is, as we looked at them, is they considered what's already in the market, which, as you know, is mostly limited service hotels, and they didn't really consider, what the possibilities or potential was. So as we began our study, everything we do is based on data and research. We spent approximately 3 to 4 weeks of just talking with everyone in the community that we could speak with. So that was the colleges, the Convention Visitors Bureau, anyone and everyone that has meetings coming to the market is who we spoke with. And of course, we learned there's quite a bit of business, and you would all know this, that ends up going up to Lake Oconee or goes down to Macon or goes to other markets that we never see here in the market. So based on that, we took that into consideration. We ran the numbers on that. Right now, our target hotel size, some of these things, it's kind of like sausage making. They will get much more refined, but they're in pretty good shape now. We're at about 100 and 125 room keys is sort of where our target is at this point, but we will refine that a little further. And then the ballroom space, however, is oversized. So if you were to look at it, go, geez, the conference center is much bigger than the hotel. We know that because that was based on all the feedback that we got from both colleges, which repeatedly told us if you wanted to have a banquet or with seated rounds for 300 to 350 people, there's nowhere really in town to do that type of facility, or really large weddings or things of that nature coming to the market. So as we laid out our pro forma, we looked at group business. I know many of you are members of associations. So the way that we designed, we didn't design, they designed, but our guidance was that we really wanted to place our group business, which is 10 or more room nights by one group. we wanted our group business to really be focused on association. So of that group business, we wanted 60% of that group business to be association type business to be able to bring into the market overall. And association business is very dependent on banqueting and conference space as we move forward. So again, looking at we are brand agnostic as a company. I've been a senior executive with Marriott, Hilton, and Starwood when they were still around, so we can work with any of the brands. But when we looked at the market overall, we felt there was a great opportunity for Hilton in the market because of just purely looking at, Marriott represents roughly 70% of the room keys within a 35-mile area as well, and we felt like, well, that's starting to get a little saturated, and Hilton is just as equally a powerful brand, so we thought, where would we go there? A couple of final comments, and again, Michael's going to kick me if I take too long. But we also, as we looked at brands, remember during periods of good time, branded hotels and independent hotels perform equally as well. But when you go into a economic downturn, the data shows us, and there's several reports out of Cornell that show us that hotels that are branded perform financially better on the long term. And that's really important for the job creation and to make sure that the ladies and gentlemen that are working for the hotel have good employment and a longer term stability for the project overall. So I wanted to start by saying that as we look at this wasn't just throwing darts at a wall. There was a lot of thought, careful consideration given to who those stake planners are and where will we see the market in the next, in the next 10 or 20 years as we move ahead on this particular project. So right now, we're in a very good place with Hilton. We currently have the brand that we are considering at the top of the list is the Graduate Hotel by Hilton. It's an upper upscale hotel. We also have sort of as a fallback is the Tapestry collection, which is also a Hilton softer brand. So those are kind of the two areas that we're working on. We do have with Hilton, we're in pretty advanced negotiation stages. We do have a binding LOI on the table at this point with Hilton. All of our terms have been well laid out, so that's ready to transact on. And just the final few things with some of the municipal planning that has to go into play. So we've got the contracts in pretty good order with the brand. Now we're just waiting for those other pieces to catch up, and then we'll finalize the branding contracts. But we're in a pretty good secure area there for that piece of it. Thank you. Thank you.
And again, Mayor, Council, and Hank, thanks for the help. Everybody we've met with today has been absolutely encouraging, and it has been a wonderful day meeting with this great team. I forgot to mention Scott. Everybody knows Scott Couch. He's our on-the-ground guy. He's always around. We're from all over the place, so you can find him wandering downtown. He'll tell you what's going on if I'm not here. But all we're looking for tonight, we understand there's work to be done. There's coordination with the city. There's P&Z. There's HPC that we've worked through with other projects downtown. But we want to make sure we're aligned with what the leadership of the city feels, number one, is appropriate, number two, is needed, and will be a benefit to downtown Milledgeville. So we are pleasure to be here. We'll try to answer any questions. You've got the whole team, but we thank you very much. And I was most encouraged, our legislative delegation, both Senator and House Representatives said, tell us what you need from the state. This is needed in the community. But again, it comes down, this is the leadership of the city we're talking to right now, so we need to know you encourage it. As I said, we travel Thursday. We'll be with investors Friday morning in Florida, down at Palm Beach. Having done a lot of these over the last 30 years, they want to know this is what the community wants and desires. When they put their money into this project, they will absolutely want to be determined that we have the support of the entire community. It's been a wonderful day. I think we can all say that through the day. But please, if you've got questions, I might not be able to answer them, but we've got the people that can. Mayor?
I want to ask you one
Yes,
thing.
ma'am.
On the parking, you say it's going to be on the South Albert side over
Yes,
there.
ma'am.
He said 125 keys with the rooms.
Right.
Is that going to be ample space for?
We've got some overflow on just across the street. I can't point it out, but if you look at the lot that's north of McIntosh, down to the right there, we've got control of those two lots as well. There's a house there.
Parking?
Yes, ma'am. And I think it meets the code requirements of what we're doing. We have some access to additional land if necessary. Just beyond that, we haven't executed any this is the real estate we have under control right now. And Frank Pendergrass has been a wonderful partner. Cedric Davis and Tim Thomas have been wonderful. Hill Thompson and his I guess, stepson, is that what it is? Everybody has come on board, and this is good. The thing I've been most encouraged with Downtown Merchants, people come to conferences, they'll do breakfast, lunch. They're going to go downtown probably to the Brick and get some wings, right, Frank? And we hope so.
Hope so.
So that's really what we're looking for. We want to make sure when we look at the group Friday morning at 9:15, we can say we have 100% buy-in by this community. And we've got 2 more groups waiting to meet with next week, because next, and we all know, you gotta have money to build this. You can't do this out of your checkbook this week, I don't think, Gus. So, but we'll answer any questions if you got any more. That's a great question, Ms. Walton.
It's only a comment, and having lived here forever, I cannot think of any place could have fallen into that is going to seem to work out. It just, I don't know. I've known Gus most of my life, and when he mentioned it to begin with, and it just seems natural. And that you can't say a whole lot about with development.
We talk often when we're together, this is the perfect storm, and it feels good. Everything, today has been a wonderful day with GMC, with Georgia College, my legislative delegation, with the mayor and other groups. It's been a wonderful day. We're positive. There's been questions, and everybody's last question is, what do you need from us? Representative Griffin, tell me what you would go to the state to get. I mean, that's what he said. Am I not right, Mayor?
Yep.
So we thank you for your time. We hope we can leave an affirmation by the council. This is desired. We're heading to Florida early Thursday morning. So thank you all very much. We appreciate it. We look
Thank you,
forward to the next
Mr.
step.
Couch. And I want to say thank you to the Percy family for seeing the need in your community and wanting to move forward and be true philanthropists in our community. That's what we need. As he stated, Mr. Griffin stated today, he was willing to roll out the checkbook with you guys. So we're thankful for that.
She said Mr. Griffin, not Griffith.
I was wondering whose
Fifth.
checkbook we were talking about.
We might
make
roll
that
out
very clear.
We might roll out Mr. Griffith as well, okay? But thank you to all our community stakeholders that want to be true partners.
Really nice.
I think this is going to be a win-win for our community. And not only have I been in on the plans from day one, but Mr. Griffith, Ms. Shinholster has been in on the plans from day one.
Oh, let me ask this right quick.
Okay.
Once everything is done, approximately how long will it take to get it?
I'm going to use.
That's a good question for the day.
We would hope by the end of this month, we have surveys and phase 1 environmental done. Results, there's no problems there. We've had great cooperation from everybody. We would look at working with P&Z and HPC before the end of the year and perhaps do a groundbreaking summertime. Is that not correct? Probably a 18 to 24 month build out. But it's important for Will to be involved now because we've got to be booking conferences 2 years out, and that's going to be important. So hopefully I answered the question anyway, but it will be progress, and it's been a wonderful experience, a wonderful opportunity.
What sort of job creation numbers could we expect from this project, inclusive of construction and operation?
40 full-time employees, is that about right, Will?
Yeah, in that ballpark, and then with flexible, with banquets, et cetera, there'll probably be some part-time on-call staff. So that could flex up a number, 30 to 40 for those additional jobs. In terms of construction jobs, I'll look to you, Michael.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
And that will be a major hurdle next, is finding the construction management company, and we'll ask LAS to help us with that process. We want to get the best company to come build this project for the community. Something that's been really encouraging is New Day USA leadership. It's been desired. Mr. Posner's talked about it a long time. It's been wanted. He's excited to know what's going on with this. And, that facility is absolutely beautiful. It can do more than it's doing now. And those are his exact words. Are there any other questions?
Are there any early estimates available for the amount of hotel-motel tax that could be generated off of this property?
I saw Rebecca in here. I don't.
She's in the bag. She doesn't right now.
She doesn't have,
Rebecca Snyder's from CVB. I don't know. Yeah.
Rebecca, if you want to step up to the podium, because I'm sure they can't hear you back there.
Sorry to put you on the spot, Rebecca.
Oh, I know she's already got her finger on it.
I wish I could say yes, but no, it will depend on really what ADR comes in at, what that final hotel room count is going to be. We will make projections at that point, but right now, we are just encouraged by the fact that we know this meets the demand that we see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rebecca. Any more questions from the dais?
Once ADR and room count comes in, your city manager will be able to tell you that very quickly.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
There you go.
That's
Thank you
what-
very much.
That's why we
Excellent.
like you.
Well, thank you for your attention. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. Thank you for the whole team being here to present this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to move on up our agenda items for tonight. As I said, we kind of made a shift. So now we're going to go back to our public comments. And the first person we have on the agenda tonight is Axel Hawkins. And come on up to the podium and make sure you state your name and address. And you're talking about the Brewberry. Microbrewery, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Aldermen. I
Good
come
evening.
before you tonight in strong support of Ordinance 2509-13. This will bring vital tax dollars to the city and contribute to creating a more vibrant culture in our central business district and contribute to creating more community-centered environments for young adults in the city, importantly, outside of those in dues-charging private clubs. I must draw while I'm here on my personal experience. I've seen firsthand how tax dollars from this type of development contribute to vital economic development and tourism. I'm a native of Henry County, Kentucky, which I will note was a dry county the entire time that I lived there. And I saw how special legislation authorizing a winery on previously fallow farmland, I might add, contributed tax dollars that were absolutely vital to our community once federal subsidies to tobacco were ended. The revenue and jobs the winery brought were one of the few things that kept our community afloat during the, I should say pun intended, with afloat, one of the few things that kept us afloat during the economic turmoil of the Great Recession and the transition away from a tobacco-based economy. And I really should note that that contributed to our community, even as so many of our residents continued to observe abstinence from alcohol due to personal, health-based, and religious concerns. At a time when our families are facing ever-increasing household costs and an ever-decreasing sense of community, this project stands to add more greatly needed community spaces, jobs, and even more greatly needed tax dollars, and contribute to moving our community forward, all while developing a plot that has laid vacant the entire time that I've been a resident in this city. It's for these reasons that I ask each of you tonight to vote aye and approve the ordinance 2509-13, and I thank each of you for your honorable service to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Liam Landry. If you will, Mr. Landry, please come back to the podium and state your name and address.
Hello. My name's Liam Landry. I live at 145 South Irwin Street. So I'm here to just ask some questions about particularly the budget. And the reason why I'm asking these questions is because I think they highlight the necessity for passing the Milledgeville Transparency and Accountability Act. Now, this information was in the most recent budget, but it's about the 2022 to 2023 budget. And it's on the section in the legislative section where you have like individual council members and the mayor's expenditures for traveling and training. So just to overview, the mayor spent $14,174 over the budget. District 3 spent $4,922 over budget. District 4 and 5 little less, but still over at $930 and $668 respectively. District 2 was actually under budget by $3,985, and districts 1 and 6, y'all were right on track. So good for y'all. But the big question here is why? Why are these numbers the way they are? Why are certain members of the council spending way over their budget? Why are some members of the council spending way under their budget? Where is the money where is it coming from that is being spent over the budget? Is it being moved from other departments? If so, which departments? Is it coming out of an emergency fund? All important questions that aren't clearly answered. And I'm sure y'all have your reasons for why you spend the way you do, and I want to trust that they are valid and justifiable, but I don't know those reasons. And people shouldn't have to come up here and ask you directly. And let me just add that I would really prefer that when I go sit down, you don't give me your particular reasons, because that dismisses the issue at hand. The issue is that this information isn't available, at least not accessibly. And if it is, I'm sorry, because I do not have time to sift through hundreds of pages of documents, to sift through hours of city council meetings trying to find the particular answers I'm looking for. That information can only be accessible if it is published in reports written by each city council member, as well as the various other departments, where it is clearly organized and explained and posted on the Milledgeville city website and provided here in this building. And so I'm asking you, just like I did last time I spoke, to please vote on the Milledgeville Transparency and Accountability Act, and not just vote on it, but to pass it. We need these kinds of questions answered. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Landry and Mr. Jarrett. Jordan, I am going to respond to that question.
You can, Mayor. I would not recommend it, but you can. It's up to you.
Okay. Can I say this to it? If they want to ask a question, you can come and get that information from the clerk, and she'll be happy to give it to you. All right, and we're gonna move on. So you all have all received a copy of the September 9th, 2025 council meeting minutes. Are there any corrections or amendments that need to be made? Hearing none, is there a motion to adopt the September 9th, 2025 council meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Ms. Mapp.
Aye.
Mr. Chambers.
Aye.
Ms. Shinholster.
Aye.
Dr. Lee.
Aye.
Mrs. Walden.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
All right, the motion carries and the minutes are approved. So I've given my comments already for tonight. Are there any college students here from class? From Georgia College State, stand up, please. I can see your hand, but I can't see you back there. And if you want to give your name and your class, you're more than welcome to.
I'm Mary Babcock. I'm Elizabeth Schmidt from American Government. Yeah. I'm Susanna Miller. We're in the same class.
Okay. Thank you. And you are welcome to come back every second and fourth Tuesdays, which I'm sure you will, because you need credit for your class. All right, so we've gotten through our comments. Presentation. We've gone through our presentation for the Hotel Conference Center, and I think that's great news for the city of Milledgeville. Thank you for presenting.
Madam Mayor, at this time, I'd like to ask you to ask the council if we can amend the agenda to add a resolution in support of the From the Ground Up of Georgia, the Economic Development Project that Mr. Couch and his team just demonstrated to us. So I put that in the form of a motion. And I'll second it.
All right, it's been properly motioned and second. Is there any discussion from the council? Hearing none, I need to take a vote for us amending the agenda to amend the agenda for the, let me make sure I'm saying this right, From the Ground Up of Georgia presentation night for council to approve the resolution.
And that will be added to the new business on the agenda.
Okay, I didn't see that down there. Okay, I see it now. All right, so we'll move on with this, since did she call the roll on that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, let me call the roll for me on that, please.
Miss Mapp.
Aye.
Mr.
On the
Chambers.
amendment.
Aye.
Ms. Shinholster.
Aye.
Dr. Lee.
Aye.
Mrs. Walden.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
All right, the agenda is amended. So at this time, we'll move to the city manager's report, and I will recognize Mr. Griffith for his report.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mayor. I don't have much. I just want to mention ordinance 2509-13. You've already heard from one of our public commenters tonight asking for your support of that. This is the ordinance that the first read was completed on at the October 9th meeting. And tonight will be the second read, and if you all choose to pass the ordinance, it will go into to effect as stated. As I mentioned 2 weeks ago, I want to thank Mr. Jordan and Miss Allen for helping me put this together. I had the big picture idea, and they got it down to where it needed to be, and so it's a good ordinance. It's an exciting ordinance for the city, and we look forward to issuing the license for these and getting those areas built out. I want to mention the other two resolutions that were part of the original agenda. Both of them deal with stormwater projects. We continue to work on our stormwater issues within the city. There's a resolution that will authorize an agreement with Simonton Engineering to do the design work on a project that needs to be designed and engineered out on Oak Circle. And also a resolution to authorize that the mayor sign and accept a permanent easement on 2269 Leo Court in order to finish the projects that have been being worked on by Peach State Construction for about the last year and a half. This is actually a lot on Leo Court that some work was done on a number of years ago, and it did not work out as it should, and we anticipate that the engineer anticipates, Public Work anticipates, I anticipate that this will remediate that situation there. So both of those are pretty straightforward, but I'm happy to answer any questions on them if you have any. Also, just a very quick update on the water main issue that we had today. Mr. Ville contacted me about 4 o'clock, and the water had been back on for about 30 minutes. So that was a pretty quick fix for what it was. I mentioned to you all when I shared that information with you earlier today that is actually a water main that we received bids on last week to replace. So it is on the list. That main will be replaced from Montgomery Street all the way to Hall Street, just on the other side of the railroad track. It, along with the replacement of the main on Montgomery Street, will be done together. We were actually quite surprised at the bid amounts. Surprised in a good way. The bids have just really been all over the place for the last 3 years, 4 years, and they're beginning to settle down a little bit, and people are beginning to bid again, which is exciting. If you all remember, we've had both of these projects out to bid before individually, and we put them together hoping we would get some bids, and we actually got 4 bids on the projects when we put them together, and that's pretty unheard of. We also got 4 bids from the same folks for our CDBG project, which is a replacing of the water system in Finnegan's Branch, and so we look forward to getting both of those projects going pretty quickly. Our low bid for both of them is a contractor we have not worked with before, so our engineering firm and Ms. Hewley will be vetting that contractor for us. The next bid up is a contractor that we have worked with many times, so if the low bid project does not vet out as it should, then our financial policy enables us to go up to the next bidder based on that vetting process. So I anticipate that we'll be tearing up some asphalt and moving some dirt by the first of the year on those two projects to get them done, and I'm excited about that happening. So.
Was the businesses able to get through lunch?
Yes, ma'am, they did.
Wonderful.
They did. Kevin put a saddle on it that was a temporary fix to keep water pressure up as much as it could. This actually started as just a service leak, and once they got the dirt off of it, it went from there. So, which is sometimes happens, but fortunately, there was pressure on the line when it was turned off at valves on both ends, so we will not have to issue a BWA. That's EPA's new recommendation now. And so I anticipate that businesses should be up and running as normal by first thing in the morning. So, that's all I have, Mayor, unless anybody has questions for me.
Hearing none, we will now move on to old business, which is part of the agenda. As mentioned by the city manager in his report, we have the second read of ordinance O-2509-13, which was introduced and first read at the September 9th council meeting. This ordinance adds two new articles to Chapter 6 of the city's alcohol ordinance. I'll ask the clerk to read the ordinance O-2509-13 by caption.
Ordinance O-2509-13, an ordinance amending Chapter 6 of the City of Milledgeville Code of Ordinances to provide for a new Article 5 entitled Microbreweries and Brew Pubs, and to provide for a new Article 6 entitled Wine Shops in Central Business District and for other purposes.
All right. Is there a motion on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion from council?
Glad to get to this point.
You're here.
All right. I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Ms. Mapp?
Aye.
Mr. Chambers?
Aye.
Ms. Shinholster?
Aye.
Dr. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Walden?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
All right. The ordinance has been adopted. Next, we'll consider new business, which is a part of the agenda, and I will ask the clerk to read resolution R-2509-36 by caption.
Resolution R-2509-36, a resolution to authorize an agreement with Simulton Engineering to provide engineering services as an amendment to the drainage replacement and improvement projects.
All right, you all have heard the resolution. Is there a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I will ask the Madam Clerk to please call the roll.
Ms. Mapp?
Aye.
Mr. Chambers?
Aye.
Ms. Shinholster?
Aye.
Dr. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Walden?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
All right, the resolution is adopted. I will ask the clerk, Madam Clerk, to read resolution R-2509-37 by caption.
Resolution R-2509-37, a resolution to authorize a stormwater drainage easement across portions of property owned by Pamela Johnson, located at 2269 Leo Court.
All right, you all have heard the resolution. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor, I want to ask a question very quickly about where all the pipe has been put for all these months. That whole, is that area that owned by the city, that particular lot, or is it common ground, or what is it?
Well, I think it's just common ground. I don't believe it belongs to the city, and all that pipe had been put there before I knew it, and I didn't ask them to move it.
Well, I'm not upset about the pipe being put there. My question, and this has always bothered me, is that it's just a blank piece of mud for most of the time. And it's directly across from our fire department. It's a back entrance to a neighborhood. And if you don't mind, if you'd look into it, I've always heard that it belonged to the city. Since we had a former mayor develop most of that in his capacity, I didn't know if maybe that was actually the case. But if we do indeed own it, it would be nice to plant some grass and maybe a few crepe myrtles and something just to dress it up.
Okay. We will check to see if it's ours and then see what we can do with it.
Okay, and if it's not, then we'll put pressure on whoever's it is.
Okay. Once we move the pipe.
So once you move the pipe. Once you
Yeah,
move
we gotta
the
get the
pipe.
pipe out of the way.
That's some heavy piping that has to be moved from one end.
It's been pretty amazing to me that much pipe has been needed for those projects.
Oh, I know.
So there be no any other discussion. I will ask Madam Clerk to please call the roll at this time.
Ms. Mapp?
Aye.
Mr. Chambers?
Aye.
Ms. Shinholster?
Aye.
Dr. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Walden?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
Right. And the motion is adopted. So at this time, due to the amending of the agenda, we will now consider Resolution R-2509-38, and I will ask the clerk to please read it by caption.
Resolution R-2509-38, a resolution supporting the development and operation of a high-quality hotel and conference center, contributing to the economic development of the city of Milledgeville.
All right, you have heard the resolution. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion?
Not quick enough.
All right, is there any discussion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Ms. Mapp?
Aye.
Mr. Chambers?
Aye.
Ms. Shinholster?
Aye.
Dr. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Walden?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
Council, clap on that one. I did say council, mayor and council here, thank you all for what you've done to make sure that this happened. We have one alcohol application to consider this evening, and I will ask the clerk to present it at this time.
Applicant Douglas Pendergrass on behalf of BYFBO LLC, doing business as Buffington's, located at 120 West Hancock Street, for beer, wine, liquor consumption on premises.
All right, you all have heard the application. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Pendergast. Buffington's is back in good hands. Well, I shouldn't say in good hands, but back in original hands.
Okay. All right, so is there, did we move on past the discussion, because you threw it out just then, Mr. Steve, when I asked, was there any discussion? I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Ms. Mapp?
Aye.
Mr. Chambers?
Aye.
Ms. Shinholster?
Aye.
Dr. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Walden?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
All right, the motion is adopted. We have one first-time appointment to make tonight, and I would like to nominate Carrie Allen to serve on the library board.
Make a motion we approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Been motion and second. Is there any discussion? I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Ms. Mapp?
Aye.
Mr. Chambers?
Aye.
Ms. Shinholster?
Aye.
Dr. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Walden?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
All right. Is there a need for a closed session tonight, Councilor or City Manager? Thank you. This concludes the items on the agenda. Does anyone on council have any questions or comments? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, clerk, call the roll. I was gonna jump upside myself.
Is it Ms. Walden or Dr. Lee?
Which one of you all said it first?
Dr. Lee.
Who seconded? Ms. Walden?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And yes.
Ms. Mapp?
Aye.
Mr. Chambers?
Aye.
Ms. Shinholster?
Aye.
Dr. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Walden?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
All right. 1 hour meeting. We stand adjourned.